First of all, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to wish everyone happy holidays, happy Christmas. But for some, it will not be so happy because unfortunately the cost of a Christmas dinner has gone up by 20% since last year. A Mississauga food bank said that some are visiting the food bank not just for food, but to try to get medical assistance in dying because they cannot pay their bills. How can the Prime Minister justify that money is being wasted when people can't even eat? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to join in with my colleagues to wish everyone happy holidays, but we know that for many people, these holidays will be difficult. With the increase in the cost of living linked to global inflation, things are very hard. That's why we've been there to invest in families. We doubled the GST credit. We are helping to pay for kids' dental care for those who previously didn't have access. We're also offering help to low-income renters. And we are also cutting the costs of childcare in half. We will continue to be there for Canadians this year and in the future. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Working. We wish everyone a Merry Christmas, but it won't be merry for a lot of people. 1 in 5 Canadians are skipping meals. There's a 20% increase in the cost of a turkey dinner for the average family. And one Ontario Food Bank CEO said, clients are telling us they're considering medically assisted dying or suicide because they can't live in grinding poverty anymore. This is after 7 years of this Prime Minister. He can promise whatever he wants, but these are the results he's actually delivered. How does he justify the $4.6 billion of waste when people cannot afford to eat?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we know Canadians are facing difficult times, but we also know Canadians continue to step up for each other. But that's why this government has continued to move forward with direct supports for Canadians, whether it was doubling the GST credit for 6 months that gave hundreds of dollars more in the pockets of 11 million families, whether it was moving forward on rental supports and dental supports for low-income Canadians. These are things that the Conservative Party voted against, but we're delivering $1,300 over the next 2 years for families to help with bills on dental. We're delivering $500 on rental. We're going to continue to deliver for Canadians through this tough time.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
What he has delivered is a 40-year high in inflation, the fastest rising interest rates in Canadian history. 1 in 5 Canadians not able to afford food. And what for? Well, according to the Auditor General, there's $28 billion of suspicious spending and another $4.6 billion of outright waste. Money that is driving up the inflationary crisis that Canadians are paying for right now. He gave checks to dead people and prisoners, Mr. Speaker. When will he recover the $4.6 billion of wasted money the Auditor General identified?
Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, Canadians well remember that when we hit the challenge of the pandemic, we needed to be there for each other, and this government made the decision to move quickly to support Canadians, to support families, to support workers, to support seniors, to support youth, to move forward on supporting small businesses, not only so people could get through the pandemic and the health crisis that it was, but also so we could weather the economic storm that came with it. And that's exactly what we did, seeing our economy come back faster than most of our fellow economies around the world. We're going to continue to support Canadians and make those investments that keep a better future.
Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Except the money went, according to the Auditor General, 1,500 prisoners got the money. Dead people got the money. $660 million of the money is under criminal investigation, and $4.6 billion was wasted altogether. Now, Mr. Speaker, the question was very simple. On what date will this Prime Minister and his government recover the $4.6 billion of waste identified by the Auditor General? The date.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians, like the Canadians in Mississauga Lakeshore, recognize the rhetoric from the Leader of the Opposition for what it is, proposing cuts in Canadian pensions, proposing cuts for EIs, proposing to do less for Canadians who need it. They voted against supports to make sure that families could send their kids to the dentist this year and next. These are the kinds of things that Conservatives continue to propose in their cuts and austerity approach on this side of the aisle. We'll continue to be there to support Canadians who need it, because that's who we are as Canadians. We support each other.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
This from a Prime Minister who's deliberately driving up home heating bills this winter. Home heating bills are expected to double right across the country. 40% of Atlantic Canadians live in energy poverty. Rural Canadians in Northern Ontario forced to heat with oil will have to pay more as well. And now the Liberal NDP plan is to raise prices further by tripling the carbon tax. Will the Prime Minister tell us exactly how much his carbon tax will cost the average Canadian family in higher home heating bills this winter?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the carbon price in Atlantic Canada doesn't kick in until the spring, so it won't cost them any more this winter. If he had actually paid attention instead of sharing disinformation with Canadians, he would know that. The reality is we are delivering a price on pollution that not only makes sure we're protecting our future against climate change, but we're putting more money in the pockets of hardworking Canadians to support them through this transition. That's what our price on pollution does. That's what it will continue to do to support Canadians.